What a story we have today. A manager at Upper Deck who was in charge of sending customers redemption cards stole $500,000 of those redemptions. And this comes on the heels of an employee of another company stealing nearly $750,000 of Upper Deck cards. And oh yeah, Topps had somebody steal a bunch of superfractors as well and go to resell them. What is happening in these companies and in the sports card hobby? We're going to debate all of this next. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table. Teapot Doug, what is going on in the sports card industry right now? We've got another crazy story that has emerged from one of these manufacturers. Upper Deck has filed a lawsuit against a former employee. His name was Adrian Frosnack, and they're accusing him of stealing potentially $500,000 of redemptions from Upper Deck's customers. This guy was hired by Upper Deck as the associate redemptions manager back in May of 2024. And Upper Deck claims that he was stealing these redemption cards by just putting them in his bag and walking out the door with them at the end of his shift every day. They have so far accounted for 319 cards that he allegedly stole with a market value of $189,115, but they believe that there are a lot more. That's how we're getting to a much larger potential number here. He has been arrested. He has been fired. Now, once again, this is all Upper Deck's allegations at this point. We don't know for certain that this has happened until it's decided in a court of law, but Upper Deck is clearly coming after this guy with a full head of steam, claiming that he was selling these cards all kinds of ways, taking them out and selling them in private deals and different ways to unload these redemption cards that should theoretically be going to customers.
It was like mailing them to himself, like through their system and marking them as fulfilled.
It is a crazy story, but it's not the only crazy story of this type. In fact, it was just a couple months ago that an employee of another company called Pivot Collectibles got sued for stealing $750,000 worth of Upper Deck cards, a lot of physical and e-pack Marvel cards. So he went through Upper Deck's e-pack system and redirected ownership, claimed a bunch of these Marvel cards that were very high-end and kept them himself. And he was an employee of a company called Pivot Collectibles that owned all of these cards. And of course, that story sounds familiar because it wasn't too long ago on this show that we were talking about the inside job that happened at Topps, where an employee there allegedly took a bunch of superfractor cards that were misprinted and meant to be destroyed, but took them out of the facility and started selling all of them on eBay. Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of those, and Topps ended up filing a lawsuit against that guy. This is a lot of controversy with these manufacturers, a lot of stolen cards, a lot of employees doing bad things in just a very short period of time. Teapot, what do you make all of this? Is just this the start of a never-ending trend here?
This is what happens if you don't pay people their bonus and you spend it ripping boxes like you did in your... No, I'm kidding. When we moved into Cards HQ, one of the biggest things we talked about was security. We spent hours, I think, discussing, okay, what are we going to do? What types of protocols? Cameras literally on every square inch. We got the drop downs in the front. We were seeing for weeks on end, it seemed like another LCS getting broken into.
Yeah.
People climbing through the ceiling, doing all these crazy things. The point being, thieves are desperate, they're shady, they're creative, and even maybe long tenured employees who sit there for a long time suddenly just see these cards and see this money and get dollar signs and lose all of their sense of morality and ethics and just go, yeah, I'm sure I won't get caught if I do this really, stupid maneuver. And what's mind-boggling is going back to the well for 200, 300, 400 plus cards over and over
These
again.
are big numbers. It's not like somebody stole one $500 card.
No.
Hundreds of thousands, in all three of these cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars of cards being stolen.
Easy to track them down. At what point, though, do we go back to the manufacturers and say, like, how does this happen? You gotta have these security and controls, and there's so much money at stake, and not just money, but like their reputation. And the collectors who spent the money on boxes to get the redemptions, to deserve and wait for these cards to add them to the collection or sell them or whatever they're doing, they deserve those cards, and now they're not going to get them, or who knows what's going on with there. It's interesting to me, the Topps lawsuit related to this, obviously. If that guy was working at the facility, well, Fanatics owns that manufacturing facility. And if Fanatics didn't own that facility, would they be suing the facility and not the employee because they didn't have proper, they're not going to sue themselves. Like Topps isn't going to sue Fanatics, company. So there's an interesting dynamic there. I don't remember if there were criminal charges. There must have been filed against that guy who stole from Topps and backdoored all those. That lawsuit's not going to go anywhere. That guy doesn't have $500,000 to pay Topps for that lawsuit. So this is one of the big problems too. You can go down the criminal path, and these guys sometimes are going to do jail or even prison time. But on the civil side, when you're trying to get your money and the restitution that's due to you for that, that's where it gets really problematic. These low-life actors have low stakes because ultimately you're not going to get a penny out of them if they don't own anything, and that you're just going to spend a bunch of money on legal fees and get nowhere with it. So it's really frustrating all around, but I think this is a wake-up call to Upper Deck, to Topps, to Panini, to everybody making cards. You got to tighten up your practices. There needs to be checks and balances at every step of the way. It should be like turning both your keys on Seinfeld for the torpedo. You got to do it. Otherwise, there's no way you get these things out of the system or do any of that stuff.
And this has got to be, this is kind of true for the entire industry now, right? Because we had, not only these cases that I just talked about, but, it wasn't long ago, was at the National this year, $275,000 in cash was stolen out of a dealer's car. Memory Lane Auctions had $2 million worth of cards swiped earlier this year from a hotel that they had shipped the cards to. Don't forget, there were $2 million worth of cards stolen at the Dallas Card Show. And by the way, that has gone silent. Silent. We thought that would, how do you walk away with $2 million worth of cards and not get caught? We haven't heard any updates on that. That's scary. So, Doug, is it just the money's become so extreme, the level of security required to operate in the card space is beyond what maybe people in the card space are accustomed to or able to provide?
Yeah, at least as it stands right now. I think this is all very eye-opening, though, as we see this just happen again and again and again. But my biggest takeaway isn't security. It's just how dumb these criminals and alleged criminals are. I don't know what goes through someone's mind to think, and this, according to the lawsuit, this most recent one with Upper Deck, the employee started doing this immediately upon getting hired. This guy gets hired as associate, manager over redemptions, immediately starts stealing, allegedly, hundreds of redemptions and mailing them to himself. What do you think? Of course you're going to get caught. And the same thing with the Topps Superfractor thing. The employee sold them himself from his eBay account. Allegedly, I guess. But this is so silly. It doesn't take a criminal mastermind to understand you're definitely getting caught if you're the only person that's handling all of this, right? You've got to be a lot smarter as a criminal. I, for instance, would spend 3.5 years working here, gaining intel.
Wait, is this your confession? What's going on here, Doug?
Allegedly, I would spend my 3.5 years here gaining intel, developing relationships, exploiting vulnerabilities, and my heist would be perfect.
I've always wondered what happened to all those La Liga cards we had out there. I couldn't figure it out.
This is why he gets mad when Parker and I are working until 10 o'clock at night, and he's like, guys, I
need my La Liga cards. Yeah. What the heck? Yeah, no, I hear you, Doug. These criminals are a little funny how they get caught in these ways. Although, frankly, that scares you because that makes you wonder how many other people are doing this but actually getting away with it, and maybe being slightly more sophisticated with it. You just don't know.
That makes the Dallas one all that more interesting to me, since we haven't heard anything else after that.
We got to try to get an update on that. Yeah. We got to. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna reach out to the dealer that Dallas Card Show theft of $2 million from earlier this summer happened to, and hopefully he'll give us some information about what the latest is. But I'm assuming that the case has gotten a little cold right now, which is pretty wild. But yeah, it's like card shops have become jewelry stores. They really have. And if you think about the amount of security, at a Tiffany's, if you walk into Tiffany's, they've always got guys at the door, and they've got their cases are shatterproof, and then all the jewelry's going into a safe at night, and they've got all these check-in and check-out procedures. And I just don't know that the card industry as a whole, from the manufacturer level on down to the card shop level and everyone in between, I don't know that the industry is quite gotten to that point yet where people understand, man, I mean, it's like these are diamond rings in these showcases, right?
I think I've mentioned it on this show before, but the documentary called McMillions that's around the McDonald's Monopoly scam is a really good documentary to watch or at least read about. And it kind of applies to this because the guy that was in charge of that, the head of security for those redemptions for a decade, was picking who got those redemptions. And it would be friends, people he met, members of his family that were across different states. So it looked like they were being spread out, but they were all somehow attached to this guy and he was getting a cut of all of it. And even he got caught with those little extra layers of security, and these guys are just doing it themselves.
Yeah.
So silly, but that's a good, it's a good lesson to learn.
Wild times.
Anytime there's big money involved, there's going to be shady stuff going on.
Yeah.
You got to be circumspect, and I don't like to jump to conclusions is the thing. Sometimes people are like, oh, we don't think there's any funny business ever going on. That's not my position. I actually expect there's funny business going on, but I don't like to be a rash judge. And like you made the point, allegedly, we live in a country where it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. And things get dicey when people just start assuming the worst about everybody, and that's what bugs me.
I do know that Fanatics hired a former FBI agent to run internal security. I got to meet him a couple of years ago, so I know they're cued in on bad things could happen, and they're trying to prevent them. That doesn't mean they are able to prevent them all. Obviously, the superfractor thing happened, after I think he was post him being hired. So I mean, things can still happen, but yeah, it's wild out there right now. It really is. And I hope this Upper Deck employee who was fired, I hope he wasn't in charge of the Bedard 1 of 1. Where's that card? Where's that card? Right? The $1 million card, the card that has the $1 million bounty on it in Upper Deck Series 2 hockey, the Bedard Auto $1 million bounty. How has that not surfaced? How has the Triple Auto USA basketball not surfaced yet? Where's that card? Who's in charge of that card at Topps? Who's in charge of Topps redemptions? Let's get him in here. I got some questions to ask him about the whereabouts of that card. I hope that card, I'm definitely not implying there's any funny business there. There's not, but where's that card?
Where's the card?
Where's the card?
It's on a pack waiting for you to buy it on eBay.
It might be on a pack on eBay right now, waiting for me to buy it. That's wild. Absolutely wild. Okay. All right, well, let's switch gears a little bit, guys. I've got to tell you about something else wild, but something else wild in a very good way, and that is the fact that this Friday, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, Arena Club is dropping a fabulous Shohei Ohtani card in their Ruby Grail packs. Their baseball pack is going to have a 2018 Topps Chrome Shohei Ohtani blue refractor auto card, number to 150, and it's a BGS 10 with a 10 auto. This is one of the biggest Shohei Ohtani rookie cards out there, a massive chase card, and you've got a chance to pull that tomorrow if you buy an Arena Club Ruby Baseball Grail pack when they go on sale. And if you're a basketball fan, they have a Paolo Banchero 2022 National Treasures True RPA number to 99 PSA 9 in their basketball packs. In football, you'll like this one, Teapot. They've got a Mahomes 2017 Contenders Optic Rookie Ticket Auto number to 75 in BGS 9. That one is in their football slab packs. Guys, go get one of these slab packs tomorrow when they drop, and make sure to use promo code SCI for 10% off your first purchase at Arena Club. Once again, promo code SCI for 10% off those packs and more on Arena Club. Download the Arena Club app today. Get the app, promo code SCI, take advantage of that. Okay, guys, let's jump into our next story here today. I referenced the USA Triple Auto, the USA Basketball Triple Auto. We don't know where that one is, but what we do know is that the non-auto version, the 1 of 1, just sold at Golden a few days ago. Earlier, it sold over this past weekend for $53,000. It's a big number. It's a record, all-time record for a Topps Now sale. Are you surprised it sold for that much, Teapot? And where the heck is that Triple Auto version of this car?
I'm very surprised by this price, but when we were speculating originally on the Triple Auto and other cards of this ilk, there's no great way to know what the card will ultimately go for, especially when it's something very unique, one of a kind, truly, not just 1 of 1, but like one of its kind, what that type of card will go for. And this is like when we're at the National and we're comping cards for people, we have our station and we're showing them market movers, the cards that I get brought up the most are 1 of 1 cards. And people are like, what do I do with this card? I made a video on that topic, just how you can try to triangulate and get to those values. But I always say, and I'm very clear, the only real way to know is truly to put it on auction. And I always recommend that people start with one of ones by walking around and fishing it around to people and offering, like, what would you give me? What would you give me, to see maybe you get a really strong cash offer and you take it, and then you're done. You move on from the card. This price, unfortunately, Golden doesn't show you how many different people were bidding and how many people were down to the final bid. They just show you the number of bids and the final sale price. So it's hard to know. How many people were even in it over 25K? Obviously, there were two eventual people who went for it. Did Giannis buy the card? Because he was the one tweeting on the Triple Auto. Was this a consolation prize? Or is somebody out there planning to go bold, hoping that the Triple Auto will also go to Golden?
It's worth noting the out of 5 of this exact card sold for $8,000. So I was surprised the one of one went for $53,000. Normally, the difference between an out of 5 and a one of one is nowhere near that extreme. Normally, it's 2 to 3x, not, what is that, 8x, 7x? Normally, it's not that. Normally, it's 2 to 3. But it just takes 2 people bidding, and clearly 2 people really wanted this card. Were you surprised, Doug, or did you expect this to get up to that range?
No, super surprised by this. I thought your offer was a fine offer, to be honest with you. Based on what you just said, we could see some sales data on low serial numbered versions of this card, and then we can try to extrapolate that. But again, you're never going to know until it goes to auction and what 2 people or handful of people want it the most. But I thought it was an encouraging sign. It's great to see cards setting records right now. I mean, granted, this is a very unique card, very unique case, but I like seeing cards setting records. I mean, it's good for our industry, right? My favorite part of this is the backlash you're getting, though. People. Oh,
am I getting back? I didn't even check social media the last couple of days.
People are now saying that yours was such an obvious lowball and that you're a bad guy because you were trying to get this for so cheap.
You're a bad man.
As if somehow this was an expected sale, right? Like no one truly expected this number to hit this high. No. But so now you're the bad guy for offering half of what the card was worth. So
hey,
enjoy that, I guess.
Good for the seller that he was able to get $53,000.
The Triple Auto, though. Where's the
Triple Auto?
If anybody wants to know how hard it is to put valuations on rare and obscure cards, go look at the recent Grails Collection Sotheby's auction that just happened, and every one of those cards sold for multiple standard deviations beyond what was expected, up or down. Some of them crushed it, some of them went way under. It just depends who wants the card at what time and how much they're willing to, and it's 2 people. It's down to 2 people. So you may have very well been the 3rd highest in demand for that card, but if the other 2 people are like, I gotta have it,
just went up and up and up.
These sealed packs aren't doing as well either. I don't know if you've looked recently, but the most recent sale on those is $1,900. Yeah. That's well down from when it was at $4,000, maybe almost $5,000 for those. So I'm kind of surprised that the hype cycle for that Triple Auto seems to be fading a little bit. A lot of these bounties do have expiration dates on it. So when that happens in 30 days, 45 days, whatever these people have set as their expiration on these bounties, like, this card is going to possibly miss its peak, right? Like this $500,000 offer, whatever's out there.
I think Jeff needs to buy 1 sealed pack per week until this card starts.
Until we find the card?
1 per week off eBay. Keep buying the packs. Keep ripping them. Let's create the chase.
I like it. All right, guys, let's jump straight into our next story. Topps, another Topps Now type of product. Topps just came out with their Topps Ohtani 50/50 product. I don't know, is this officially considered a Topps Now set, or it may not be? It may be.
No,
it's not Topps Now. It's just its own set. 2024 Topps Ohtani 50/50. It feels like a Topps Now set because it is kind of an of the moment set, right? So once Ohtani got that incredible 50/50 mark, what they decided to do was to put together a 100 card set with 1 card featuring each of his 50 home runs and 1 card featuring each of his 50 stolen bases. And then, of course, they decided to juice up the set a little bit by creating these incredible chase cards. They're Topps Dynasty Black, which never existed before. They created it just for this product, and they say they're going to keep it going for special future releases as well. Only 3 of these cards. All 3 of them are one of ones, and they all contain game-used memorabilia from the game when he hit his 50th home run. I think the logo man from his pants is in one of them. That's probably the biggest of the chase cards. You got his batting gloves from his 50th home run in one of these as well. So those cards look pretty incredible. Those cards are clearly, would sell on the open market for tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars really, really big cards. Maybe I'll put a $1.75 bounty on them just to see how people react to that.
Fire up.
The actual set itself, $239 a box. To get a box of this product, you get, I believe, one parallel or short print or relic or autograph per box. So your chances, you don't get a lot of that kind of stuff, and your chances of hitting that one of those big chase cards is very long. According to Colt Holt on X, on Twitter, who did some math, he believes there are about 50,000 boxes of this produced. So if there's only 3 of those big 101 Topps Dynasty Black chase cards, 50,000 boxes produced, your odds aren't very good. Although your odds are considerably better than hitting that USA basketball triple auto, where there were like 600,000 cards printed or thereabouts, upwards of that, and only one of those triple autos. So your odds are definitely better. What do you guys make of this product? I'm going to start with you, Doug. Does this product interest you at all? And what do you think about these new Topps Dynasty Black cards?
I don't like this product. I'll tell you why. I like some of the concepts behind this product, right? I like that they have a commemorative set for a very significant accomplishment. But these cards won't come out this week or next week or the week after. I think it's December when you're actually going to get
Christmas.
Yeah, the
baseball
shipping, like
season's
the
well
shipping date
over.
on them, I think is like December, like right after Christmas,
right.
26 or 27 or something. Yeah.
The thing, I like that they have the Dynasty Black chases. Really cool chase cards in this. But the thing that hurts the most is the price point compared to what you're getting. You're getting 50 cards, only one hit per box for $250. So you're gonna spend $250 after shipping, or maybe $260 after shipping, and you're going to get 49 base cards that won't be worth anything, and then one hit that might only just be a short print card, not even serial numbered. That's not a very compelling chase to me for that price point at all. And I think that just comes across as such an obvious cash grab. I think they could have met, their consumers, their collectors in the middle, offered them what is more standard, something like 3 hits per box at that price point. Print a little bit less of it. I'm sorry you don't get to make, a few more millions, but I think they would survive and treat their customers a little bit better. So for that reason, I don't really like the product, and it just kind of rubs me the wrong way that they're doing that. But again, there are some massive chases in there, and that's going to compel people to go after them. I just don't see this being a very appealing product by the time it comes out.
Interesting take. I know a lot of people were going crazy over the look of those Topps Dynasty Black cards, but Doug's got a good point. Is that enough for this set? Does it interest you, Teapot?
There's so much to say about this. We talked a little bit about this on Spitball and Cards as well, and a lot of different reactions. We were recording, and this thing went live, and the website's crashing. They got to beef up the website, but then there was no checklist available when you're pre-ordering boxes of this. There was, to my knowledge, no awareness that this product wasn't going to ship for another 2 months.
Yeah.
There was a lot of questions around this. And then what it seemed like was that even though this is not a Topps Now print-to-demand product, it seemed like they left the buying window open for quite a while to just let people keep reordering and buying ostensibly to print to demand, and then figure out what the pack odds were going to be and how many hits. You didn't even know how many parallels there were going to be. We didn't even know if there were for sure 100 superfractors in this product, because we saw one superfractor and one red refractor to 5 in the promo materials, and we saw one Dynasty Black of the 3 that were teased out.
Interesting.
So there wasn't a lot of information. You're expected to go into this blind, and you know how I kind of railed against that with FOTL National Treasures, the same problem. I don't want to go spend a bunch of money if I don't know what I'm getting, and that almost feels criminal to me. Like, that's worse than people railing against mystery repacks, where you're getting actually some awareness of all the different things in it and what the chases are. So that was a problem for me. In terms of like this concept, we talked about the Wemby, high-end Wemby product that's coming out. These like focused, athlete-focused cards. It's just really interesting. Like, if there are 100 superfractors over time, what happens to Ohtani superfractor values? Is that a good thing? Does it mean more collectors can have superfractors, or does that mean that it just devalues superfractors all around? There's so many different things around this. I feel like it's a little anticlimactic that they're going to ship these boxes out during literally the single most dead period of the year for baseball, which is December, end of December.
Thought, yeah.
Like, basketball's in full swing. You got Christmas games. Football's kind of heading toward playoffs. Nobody's looking at baseball. And you've got this commemorative set coming out with 1 hit per box. I think it could leave people with a lot of bad taste in their mouth. The last thing I'll say, I do wish they would have put one of the Dynasty Blacks in this product, one in Topps Update, and one in Topps Update, Topps Chrome Update. Distribute it out so that you do that, you tease it out a little bit more and add some cool value to that. But this to me is proof that my hunch that I've been saying for the last year, that Topps Dynasty is the product that's going to keep rising. We saw the big investment into the soccer cards that came out. That product was selling for $3,500 a box with those on-card autos. And now they're saying it's Dynasty. It's not definitive. It's not anything else. It's Dynasty cards that they're creating this series for blacks with these top moments. So I think that's compelling. I think there's going to be this big runway as football and basketball get folded into Topps brand, that Dynasty is going to be the high-end set.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, from an investment standpoint, that's definitely something for people to be thinking about out there for sure. You can get pretty good Topps Dynasty cards of pretty premier players for not that much money. I mean, I shouldn't say not that much money. People are going to kill me for that comment. Comparatively.
Comparatively.
Like, for example, I got a
flawless.
Juan Soto 2018 Topps Dynasty patch auto numbered to 10 for, I think it was a PSA 9. It was around $5K.
Yeah.
Which $5,000, I get that. That's a lot of money. But think about top basketball players,
right.
RPA
Not even
from the top set
Franz
number
Wagner.
to 10.
A Franz Wagner,
Right.
Yeah.
not a top player. A Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
Shout out Seablez.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? So, I mean, I think there's opportunity there. I get where you guys are coming from on the product. I completely agree with you, Teapot. I do wish they had spread around the Topps Dynasty Black cards
Some
a little
kid
bit.
pulls.
Put them in some other products. That would have given those other products a lot of excitement as well, as opposed to putting them all in here. I think this product is probably really cool for a big Ohtani fan, for a big Dodgers fan. I know there's a lot of Ohtani and Dodgers fans. I mean, I'm an Ohtani fan, but I'm not a big enough Ohtani fan to want to put together a collection of 100 cards from 100, at-bats and stolen bases, right? I feel like it could be cool.
But if you do want that, you can get that. You'll be able to buy those complete sets of base cards for like $10.
Yeah. That would be a cool thing to do with the product, is like build a wall display of Ohtani's 50-50 year. You got his 50 at-bat cards. You got his 50 stolen base cards. So I kind of like it as a collector product. I do wish they didn't price it quite as high, because it's kind of too high for a collector product. At $99 a box, I would have said this is a great collector product for any big Ohtani fan or big Dodgers fan.
Completely agree.
You can build a complete set of these cards. It's going to be awesome. But $239 a box, as you said, like, you kind of want some real material in there, some real chases. It feels like it's light, but man, whoever gets one of those Topps Dynasty Black cards can be pretty happy. They're going to be pretty happy. So it'll be fun to see when those eventually get opened and what they sell for on the secondary market if people choose to sell them. Okay, guys, one final topic today. Before we get there, I just want to mention that, speaking of boxes, we've got a lot of boxes for sale right now on cardshq.com. We're getting close to the holidays. Go check out cardshq.com. We have 32 different boxes that we have on sale right now on our sale page on cardshq.com. Make sure to check that out. Okay, final topic. We're going to stick with Ohtani. We're going to talk about this 50th home run ball. I know it's not a card, but it's very closely connected here in the collectibles industry. What a story this has been, right? So the one guy catches the ball. He immediately decides to put it up for auction at Golden Auctions. And right as the auction's about to start, a 17-year-old files a lawsuit and says, actually, he caught the ball and this guy pried it out of his hands. And the court decides to let the auction proceed, but the sale can't be final until there's another hearing. So there's going to be another hearing on this in a couple of weeks. So it's actually, the initial motion, like, it's not decided yet. It's not final yet. That was just an immediate injunction that got denied. The sale was allowed to continue, but the sale can't be finalized. We got another hearing coming up. So it's still TBD what's going to happen there. Then just the other day, a second person filed a lawsuit claiming they caught the ball and it was actually pried out of their hands. So now you got two different people suing the guy whose ball is at Golden. Meanwhile, the ball at Golden is almost at $1.5 million already, which has sailed past the original reserve price on the ball. So this thing is on pace to easily break the record for Aaron Judge's ball for when he hit his, 62nd home run a couple seasons ago. The most expensive ball ever to sell is from Mark McGwire's 70th home run ball from the 1998 season. That one fetched $3 million. This one could get to that level. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to get to that level or not, which, by the way, think about that price. The ball from Ronald Acuna Jr.'s
You got to steal, literally.
Well, I didn't get the ball. I should have gotten
you
the
got
ball.
the ball,
I got the
yes.
gloves and the bat.
Which is better, in my
The
opinion.
ball sold. I think the ball sold for 18 or 20 or 20. It sold for right around $20,000. The ball from Acuna's 40th home run on his 40-70 season sold for $20,000. MLB authenticated the whole thing from the 40th home run. This ball's going for $1.5 million already. I mean,
Ohtani.
okay, I know
Ohtani.
Ohtani's a bigger name.
It's Ohtani.
I know 50-50 is a bigger accomplishment than 40-70. I get all of it. But $1.5 million compared to $20,000? My God, that's wow. Anyway, but Teapot, what do you think of all of this?
It's like, this is like me when I was chasing candy at the parades as a kid, just elbowing fools in the face, just grabbing. I grabbed everything. Nobody stood a chance. And now it's like that Zach Hampel guy who's out like elbowing kids in the face at baseball games to get cards, except in this case, to me, it looked like the 17-year-old kid was the one who was late to the show. This guy was already squatted over the ball, reaching down to get it. And all of a sudden, this kid's long, gangly arm comes out of nowhere and reaches down like a crane machine trying to claw grab it out of his grip. And he just armbarred him and said, no, this is my ball, like get out of the way. I don't know. Courts are going to have to figure it out. Who this other person is now that's claiming to have the card, that's ridiculous. Good luck. You know, that was somebody who an attorney found and said, hey, I saw you on this thing. I tracked you down using my facial recognition algorithm, and let's file a lawsuit and see if we can get a piece of this. Kid's like, okay, yeah, sounds good. So I don't know. You get a lawsuit. You get a lawsuit. Everybody, you know what? I'm gonna go see if I can get a cut.
That second lawsuit claims that the guy who eventually got the ball jumped over the fence, jumped on top of him, knocked the ball out of his hands,
Punched him
took
in
the ball,
face.
or something like that. It was some crazy, some
The video's
crazy
there.
story.
No.
So maybe that guy actually did do that. I
You know
don't
what?
know.
You know what they
crazy.
what they should do is just divvy up the proceeds from the ball to everybody who was at the ballpark that day. Just make it even, just like when you hit the bad beat jackpot in Vegas
Yeah,
at the
there you
poker
go.
room. Split it up. 30% to this guy, 30 to this guy, 40 to everybody else who was at the stadium.
That's a good idea.
I like it.
I like
Let's
that
just
idea.
do that.
Just give some money to everybody
For
who's
the
at the
people.
game. I
You
like
know?
that. Like
I
a
watched
bad
it on-
beat jackpot in poker.
I watched it
That's
on
a
TV,
great idea.
so maybe I get a few bucks.
Yeah.
You watch on TV?
Yeah, I'll take a few bucks.
I bought one of the Ohtani 50-50 boxes. I should get a few bucks, right? I think that's great.
Yeah.
What do you think, Doug?
I don't really know what to think about this. I mean, on one hand, the video looks like the guy who eventually got the ball and put it up for auction. It looks like he got the ball first to me, and it looks like somebody else came in. There's a second party. I have no idea who this third party is. I didn't see that at all. But on the other hand, it's just, I mean, it's not like he deserves that. It's not like he did something to earn that ball, just the right place at the right time. And there's some precedent here, right? There was a Barry Bonds ball that had to go to court and get 50-50 ownership in a very similar case to this. So if I'm a judge trying to make a ruling on this, I'd probably just go 50-50, right? Like, I don't know that I'm going to sit there and look at this video and say, well, this guy definitely deserves the ball because he was there first, but this other guy touched it. That's just semantics. Like, to me, there's so much money here that no one necessarily earned or deserves. Split it up. $1 million each. Like, who's going to be unhappy with
I want
that?
to know where the other two balls are from that game that he hit as home
Yeah.
runs. And can we get those all three, like, rolling on auction and have 6 more lawsuits filed about who got
The problem
those
with
balls?
splitting it up is then you're going to have 18 more people sue and claim they were 6 rows
late.
behind and they were going to jump on the
too late.
ball, but they got blocked by
By the
somebody.
way, I can't wait to read in the comments the people who are going to say I would have just given it to the kid. Like give
nobody's gonna say
me
that.
a break.
Nobody's going to say
Give
that.
me.
There's
I
no
would
way.
have. Somebody will say that. Somebody will say I would have just given it to the kid. And
was
it
his
wasn't a kid. It was
birthday.
a 17-year-old.
This is his
like,
birthday.
Whatever.
This is like one of those big old-fashioned dog piles in a football game. No one's really sure who's got the ball at the bottom of it. Everyone's punching each other, ripping the ball, and at the end of the day, it's whoever comes out of the pile with the ball gets the ball, right? That's how it works in football, and that's probably how it's going to work here.
I would have been
So
launching my 8-year-old
that's-
down there like a catapult. Just go, get it, go.
Just get the ball.
You know,
Get the ball.
Taking out.
8-year-old comes flying down.
Yeah.
That would have been great. Go. That would have been great. That would have been amazing. All right. That's all we got for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to download that Arena Club app and use promo code SCI for that big slab pack drop with, of course, an Ohtani card tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. And we'll see you soon with our next episode. Take care.